Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives, where today, thanks to Gene Butman Ford in Ypsilanti, Michigan, we're driving this 2003 Mercury Marauder. You guys know that I love a good Panther platform car, and well, this is the ultimate one because it's basically a Mercury Grand Marquis with the engine from a Mustang Cobra. Ford actually made this in the early 2000s. I mean, there had to have been some kind of demand because the Panther platform had been around for ages and they never really made a performance-oriented variant on this platform. And instead of basing it off of the Crown Victoria, like everyone probably expected them to do, they based it off of the Mercury Grand Marquis. I suppose it was one last-ditch effort for the Mercury brand to have something cool, and well, it kind of worked. Mercury planned to make about 18,000 of these in the first model year, but only ended up making 11,000 over the 2 model year run, as they weren't quite as popular as they hoped. This is one that I've always wanted to drive. This comes from a very cool era at Ford when they were making things like the Terminator Cobra and the second gen SVT Lightning. This was kind of off to the side in the Mercury stable, but it did still have lots of cool tricks up its sleeve. For one, when it came out, black was the only color it came in. Properly menacing. Down the road, you could get it in silver, blue, or red. In the 2004 model year, lots of other options became available, but this is a pretty early 2003 build, so of course it is black. Now, I mentioned under the hood, it has the engine from a Mustang Cobra. Now, this doesn't have the engine from the Terminator Cobra that would have been sold alongside of this in 2003. This has the engine from the previous generation Cobra, the car that stopped in 2001 here in the States, and that is a 4.6 liter naturally aspirated V8, but not the same one that you would have found in the Mustang GT. This is a 32 valve, 4 valve per cylinder V8. So let's pop the hood and show you that. But it meant that this Mercury Marauder had 302 horsepower and 318 pound-feet of torque, which doesn't really sound like a lot because, well, it kind of isn't, especially since this weighs 4,200 pounds. It was only available with a 4-speed automatic, but it does have the limited slip rear differential from the Crown Victoria police car. But anyway, here is our 4 valve per cylinder, 4.6 liter naturally aspirated V8. This one's got a couple of modifications. It's got a full stainless works exhaust, including long tube headers, and it has this K&N cold air intake. So this one's probably making a bit more power, maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 320, 330, 340, something like that. This comes from a very, very enthusiastic owner that owned this car for quite a while. It's only done 64,000 miles. And I know what you're thinking. You've probably already typed the comment, where are the iconic chrome 5-spoke wheels? Well, if you purchase this car from Gene Butman Ford, they do come with it, and I'm attaching a B-roll shot of them right now. I think this was the owner's only car, so he had the chrome set as like a winter set, and then he opted for whatever these aftermarket wheels are, for a bit of an all-season set, and these are actually some fresh Continental tires, but I am getting a bit ahead of myself. This engine sounds the business, especially since we have these long tube headers and the full stainless works exhaust. There's only a couple of mufflers left, so we are in for a treat today to hear this thing when we go for a drive and commute this to downtown Ann Arbor. I want to compare this to the Lincoln Town Car that we drove on the channel a couple of months ago, because this is on the same platform. And it did actually have something in common with some Lincoln Town Cars. When the Marauder came out, it had rear self-leveling air suspension. Now, a lot of owners took this off for reasons like reliability, and this one has been one that's had that removed. So this just has regular rear suspension, but it had rear air suspension, and then it had front suspension or front springs from the Crown Victoria police car, as well as brakes from the Crown Victoria police car, and taillights from the Crown Victoria police car. So a little bit of a parts bin special, but it all came together to make this kind of sleeper Marauder. I mean, I think that's the perfect name for this car. So we'll poke around this a little bit more, and then we'll jump out on the road and go for a drive. I love the way that they've been able to capture this like menacing look of this Panther platform car without having to change a whole lot. Just having this in black with the blacked out trim under the taillights, the solid red lights from the cop car Marauder script on the back bumper, which Ford used to do such a cool job with this. They used to put Cobra on the back of the Mustang Cobra in things. Now, this is an aftermarket exhaust, like I said, but all of the Marauders did have these big chrome tips. So this does actually look somewhat factory on this car. But anyway, let's pop the trunk from the key fob here. You can see just kind of regular looking fobs and keys, where we find the jacket from the last person the driver killed. No, that's a line from Top Gear, if you guys remember. But this is actually the jacket that came with the Marauder. You can see that the lining of the jacket has the emblem in it. And then on the outside, it's just a simple leather jacket. And then you have the little zipper with the Marauder on it. Should I see if it fits me? It's about 90 degrees out, but we gotta see if this... You think they'll notice if the car returns without the jacket? Oh yeah. If it was if it was actually an appropriate temperature out, I would wear this while reviewing the car in proper form. But anyway, this is just a normal Panther platform trunk. You guys saw me sit in the back of that Lincoln Town Car, and this is pretty much the same size. We have our spare tire up here on this little bit of a parcel shelf, I suppose you could call it. But otherwise, I mean, many long extremities could fit in this trunk. I think maybe 6 bags of golf clubs, or golf club similarly sized things, if you get my drift there. Probably don't want to mess with the driver of a Mercury Marauder. Okay, let's shut the trunk. I feel like, did the Town Car have like a soft close feature? This doesn't appear to have that. So this is a big body on frame car, as we know, and for 2003 the chassis actually got quite a few updates. In fact, the Marauder is 50% more rigid, and this also had a revised rack and pinion steering system as well. So many things to make this a bit more streetable, and we'll test all of that out today, of course. In the back seat, your first look at your dark gray leather, but it does have some perforations in the middle. Backseat room, not quite as nice as the Lincoln Town Car that we drove, but it does still have enough room. And this is another one of those super squishy, cushy back seats. Little fold down console with some very shallow cup holders. I don't really know what you'd be putting in there, but you probably have to rest your hand on it. Doesn't look like we have any HVAC. We might have, I think these might be little vents here at the bottom of the center console, but we do have 2 seat back pockets. Ooh, are these ashtrays? I think on other models they would have been, but they're just little block-off panels here in the Marauder. I suppose the people you kidnapped don't have to smoke in the back of the car, so they didn't bother with them. Looking up front, why don't we just get up there and start it? It is hot. I am sweating. I'm absolutely roasting. Oh, the sun's come out a bit. All right, well, we'll show you what this car looks like here in the sun. And I also want to talk about tires real quick before we get out on the road. Now, these are factory wheel sizes, but the rear tires, I think, are a little bit bigger than what you would have gotten from the factory on a Marauder. So this is just some random aftermarket wheel that I've never heard of. But we've got a 235/30 ZR18 on the front, wrapped in a Continental Extreme Contact. It's actually a really nice tire on this. Be curious to see how this drives on a very modern tire compound that we drive a lot of new cars on. And on the back, a 245/55 ZR18, so a little bit wider and a little bit taller. I was reading the original review that Car and Driver did in 2003, and they mentioned that this left 2 very even black lines when you would hole shot it, but I don't know that this one will with these massive rear tires, I suppose. Again, we'll find out. Little keypad on the driver's door. Ford has been doing that for quite a while. And the first thing you notice here on the door panel, no wood trim. All of the Marauders got this gray kind of plastic, almost kind of looks like seat perforations, all these little dots on here. We've got our seat switch mounted on the door, kind of like a Mercedes-Benz or any other Panther car with power seats. And we also got this leather-wrapped perforated steering wheel. However, the steering wheel itself is the exact same as what you would have gotten on just a regular Mercury Grand Marquis, just a different wrap on this one. So not the sportiest feeling steering wheel. It's very skinny and it has a lot of space up here with no spokes, but it does let you see this beautiful gauge cluster in silver. You can see this one's only done 64,117 miles. We also got these odometer gauges down here for our oil pressure and voltage. So cool. All right, I'm actually going to start it with the door open so you can hear this exhaust. that noise from a Grand Marquis, basically. Come on. All right, let's hope this has good air conditioning because I am so ready for it. Anyway, otherwise in this interior, the biggest difference on every Marauder is that they had a center console with a floor shifter. So as opposed to a column shifter and a bench seat, this one had this very early 2000s Ford looking shifter, but I do like this silver trim around our selector for the 4-speed automatic, and you can lock this into first or second, and then you could put it into D, and that will of course shift you into third gear. But pretty usable center console here. You can see my hat in there for scale, and pretty cozy seats. Now I wouldn't really call these sporty in any way. They've even got these little pockets on the front and a lumbar adjust, which is cool to see here. And then the Marauder logo on the seat front here as well, but no real bolster. So this car that's been made 50% more rigid, allegedly, doesn't have bolstered seats. So I suppose you're 50% more likely to fall out of the seat. You guys remember I was falling out of the seat on that Lincoln Town Car. So what's the Marauder gonna be like? I suppose why don't we just go and find out instead of sitting in the parking lot for any longer. Into reverse activates our central locking. Very solid clicks from that shifter into drive. And the first thing you notice is still how light the steering is in this car. Oh, also, another similarity to the Lincoln Town Car that we drove a couple of months ago, the turn signals on this car blink very fast, but don't worry, I got out, I made sure they all work. I think the problem is this has aftermarket LED front turn signals, and they're just making the car short out. So don't worry, the turn signals do work. Not cutting people off with no signal today. I would say let's put the windows down, but I tried putting the driver's window down and it didn't want to go back up. So we're going to keep the windows up today, but I don't really think you need to put the windows down. The induction noise on this car is so good and clear. That's a really cool noise. We're going to do that one more time. Why not? Typical old Ford 4-speed automatic. It just wants to be revved at 1500 RPM all the time. But when you can convince it to rev out, oh, that makes such a cool noise. Green light. Oh, lean it in. There's a pitch at like 4,000 RPM where it's almost Maserati Quattroporte-esque. Oh, yes. All right. Now, it does actually feel... Hold on. You can tell that they went in and tweaked some things because this does not feel at all as floppy as that Lincoln Town Car that we drove, even though that Town Car I think did have this revised frame. But with this having the cop front suspension, the revised steering, I mean, the steering's a little vague, but it is still a Panther at the end of the day, so we have to give it credit where credit's due. Let's see how it does in a little bit of a sweeping left. Oh, wow! It didn't really complain at all there. Oh, man. Throttle response is a little bit sharper than just a regular Crown Vic or Grand Marquis. Brakes feel really good. Nice bite from that pedal right up at the top. Steering actually weights up pretty decently through a quick corner like that. All right, we got to see how this thing gets off the line. I don't think it's going to spin its wheels with this with these big Contis on the back, but we'll give it a shot. I'm going to put it in first gear. When I got in this car, I was searching all over for the traction control button, because usually it's just a little physical switch on the dash where our power adjust pedals live, or right over by that. And this one doesn't have it. So this car, in theory, doesn't have traction control. Let's put this into first gear and see how it gets off the line. Okay. Wonder if this has some kind of shift kit in it or something. That's a pretty pretty aggressive shift there from this otherwise pretty tame 4-speed automatic. I think you'd have to brake torque it if you wanted this thing to do anything dramatic off the line, but we'll be nice to it for the rest of the video here. You guys know I'm not one to like window tints. I'm really not a big fan of them, but I think a fishbowl Mercury Marauder like this, I don't know, it's a bit wrong. I mean, it's how I would have it because I don't like window tint, but I think this is one of the few cars where I would be like, hell yeah, if you had some tints like those, that level of tints on that Malibu right there would be quite appropriate here on this Marauder. No, this thing sounds amazing. This stainless works. You've really outdone yourself. I was actually looking this exhaust system up. So the long tube headers alone are like $1,900, and then the catback is like another $1,600. So this car's got like $3,500 worth of exhaust on it. It does rev itself out quite a bit. Even when you are just driving it normally, but you have the torque to back it up. You don't have to be flooring this thing everywhere. It does actually feel pretty quick for a car with 300 horsepower that weighs just a little bit over 2 tons. As you can see here, into overdrive. Yeah, it's great. And to me, this is really where these Panther platform cars shine, is on the commute, which is a bit hilarious because they're all powered by V8s. They're not very efficient. I mean, they're somewhat efficient for what they are, but yeah, at the end of the day, you're going to be in the teens for your fuel economy, but they're just so dang comfortable that it really just outweighs anything else. Like, even this Marauder, the stiffest variant of them all, see here, 80 miles an hour, we're revved just over 2,000 RPM. Something is vibrating over in the glove box. It could be the wheel locks or the wheel lock key that I saw in there. But here's what I like about this car is there's no level of over floatiness. I kind of found that a bit in the Lincoln Town Car, where you'd go up something, it would rebound very quickly and then bounce back up. Whereas this is firm enough to where you still feel very confident going down the highway. So over some of these kind of uneven bits in the highway, you compress, but then the rebound isn't shocking. Like, the car actually feels very settled. And this does feel like a properly well looked after example of the Marauder as well. I mean, only 64,000 miles. I don't even think Gene Butman Ford has detailed this car yet, and it's like perfect inside. So this is just one of those cars that, like, if you know, you know. This is one of those cars where like you get approached at a gas station, but only for like a good reason. You have people that are like, oh, is that a Marauder? Yes, it is actually. It would be really cool. I know Tyler Hoover has talked about like his BMW 2001 dream team, but I dream about the early 2000s Ford dream team. Terminator Cobra, Mercury Marauder, SVT Lightning. I mean, those are just such cool examples of cars that we'll really never see anything like it again. And I can't even really say that the Marauder came towards the end of the Panther's run, because the Panther platform existed until like 2010 or 2011, something like that, and they only made the Marauder for 2 model years, 2003 and 2004. Dearie me, it's starting to rain. Let's test out the wipers. Oh yes, very good. So this has cruise control that you toggle on. I never know how to work these. Oh, I got that to work. Okay, so you use it just via these steering wheel buttons, which usually get really gross and sticky, but these actually feel quite all right. The only thing I find a little awkward with these cars is hand placement on the steering wheel, because if you drive it like where you would a normal car, like resting your thumbs on the spokes, your hands are a little bit too far down, so you kind of have to drive it at like 10 in 2, like they would have taught our parents how to drive back in the day. I don't know, man. As a commuter, this is great. I'm cozy in this car. This is just so cool. I've driven like Aston Martins and Lamborghinis and things, and you always have that sense of like worry in those, that, oh, what if someone parks next to it and scratches it, or what if a car kicks up a rock? But this car, it's worth about 18 grand, I would say, probably something like that. Look at that, we're gonna fly under the radar. He probably just thinks I'm one of him. Greetings, officer, I am one of you. No reason to pull out. Usually state cops around here only pull over semi-trucks anyway, but where was I going with this? Completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh, this is a cool car that you can get for a decent price that you can just drive about and not really have to worry about it. I mean, these are still quite reasonably priced, and out of the 3 vehicles I mentioned, the Terminator Cobra, the SVT Lightning, and this is definitely the most reasonably priced. Granted, this isn't supercharged like those 2 other cars, but it does still have some really good charm to it. I mean, it makes an awesome noise. And this is back when, like, cars weren't always focused on Nürburgring lap times. I mean, this car just wanted to cruise around in some confidence. I mean, this is actually taking the exit ramp quite well. We're having to get on the brakes for these guys. But it's not, like, overdone. They haven't over-damped this car. They haven't made it too stiff. It feels just about perfect for what it set out to do in 2003. It's just a mildly streetified, faster version of the Crown Victoria with the engine from a Mustang Cobra. Which I just love. I mean, this was just the coolest thing. And the fact that Mercury even made this, Ford even made this, they would never dare to make something like this these days. I mean, the closest thing we get is, what, the Maverick Lobo? And that's got the same engine as a regular Maverick. Ride quality here is really nice. These oversized tires, I'm sure, do help a bit. But, like, impact harshness, no worries at all. Even this interior feels pretty well put together, which is really saying a lot for a Ford of this era. But it all feels pretty dang good. As does the, oh, this AC is just ice cold. You are also able to opt for a sunroof on your Marauder if you would like, but this one has a console in its place, which I think is a little bit better use of the space. And you save a little bit of weight. Not that the Marauder's super concerned about being a light vehicle, but, you know, every little bit counts. I love the cruiser aspect, you know, driving downtown like this, 1500 RPM. bassiness from that 4.6 liter V8. This did actually have over half a tank of fuel when I started, and we're now approaching a quarter tank. A couple of those spirited accelerations probably did not help, but you know what? We're having fun. This car, you guys can't see, but it's painted a huge smile on my face. This is one I can check off the list. 1 out of 3. We just got to drive the Lightning and the Cobra now. Was Ford making anything else around that time that was quite cool? I'm sure they were. I would say the V8 Taurus SHO, but that ended in the late 90s, early 2000s. So what about one of the most important things for a cruiser or a commuter, elbow comfiness? Well, happy to report that this center console is actually pretty soft. I'm gonna have to turn the wipers on to an actual setting at this point. And even the driver's door panel, I guess, I don't know, it's kind of a bit of a sacrificial squish here. It's kind of a soft plastic, but your right elbow will be quite comfortable, so that is a good thing. A little bit of drone from this exhaust. Obviously this would not be the case if this car had a stock exhaust, but whatever. I would make the sacrifice for long tube headers and just a full aftermarket exhaust system. But the best thing about this car in particular is it does come with all of its factory components. I actually had to pull them all out of the trunk in the back seat. The jacket is the only thing I left, but all 4 stock wheels, the stock intake, the stock exhaust, it's all here with this car. So if you want to put it back to the way it came, you absolutely can. Man, so the ride quality is sublime. This is definitely the best driving Panther car I've driven, and it should be, because it is the most performance-oriented one that they made. If you don't, I mean, I guess you could say the P71 Police Interceptor, yes, because that did share quite a few components with the Marauder, but with this having the Cobra engine, I mean, come on. This is the one to have for sure. Maybe I should have one of these. I really think I would enjoy owning this car. Hopefully the parking structure is open today. I came here the other day in a Mercedes GLE 63. I was very much looking forward to hearing the V8 motor in the structure, and I could not do it because the gate was broken. All right, we're gonna have to roll the window down now and hope that it goes back up after the fact. There's a bit of a trick to it. Auto down, that's lovely. Turning circle, pretty good. No parking sensors for you here.
Please select it. Welcome. Please proceed into the lawn.
Look at that, they've fixed the gate. Oh, let's get these headlights turned on. Oh, I love a good green lit cluster. Ooh, quite a big long car. Well, there you go. There's proof that you can commute in a Mercury Marauder. Will you have fun? Yes. Will you be cozy? Yes. Will you be efficient? No. But 2 out of 3 things are covered. And if you commute with other people or lots of things you need to carry in the trunk, this will do all of that, and you'll look excellent. I don't think anyone will really try and bother you in this, especially if you put tints on it. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right, let's park this before I get in trouble. Such a cool thing. And honestly, all jokes aside, like, this is genuinely a really nice car. It drives really, really well. There we go. It's just what, you know, old cars, they have little little foibles about them, things that you have to learn. That is an excellent classic Dodge van. Check that out. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll just park over here so we can do our full walk around of this thing. Into park. We do actually have a foot parking brake, though I don't know if it works. I don't really want to strand myself up here, so we're just gonna leave. We're gonna let that park gear hold this Marauder. But let's show you guys the exterior of this one last time. What a cool thing this is. All this ever does when I film a used car is make me want one. And well, if you want this one, it's available right now at Gene Butman Ford. Hopefully still will be when I post this video. But we're gonna go ahead and cut to a little bonus clip for the end of the video with Josh, who is the gentleman that took this Marauder in on trade. All right, guys, as a little bonus for the end of the video, we're here with Josh Belisle from Gene Butman Ford. He's the one that took this 03 Marauder in on trade.
Yes, this thing is sweet. First of all, honored to be on Topher Drives.
Thank you.
Always wanted to be a part of this, so just such a cool car. You know, anytime you can get a granddad car with a ton of horsepower, just a blast. Previous owner really took care of this car. Just so many cool features on it. So, and again, just awesome to be a part of Topher Drives.
Yes.
See you guys.
Yeah, thanks for tossing me the keys. This was a lot of fun. So if you guys are interested in this Marauder, I'll have Josh's info linked in the description, and you can come have yourself the granddad car with the heart of a Cobra.
You got it.
All right.
Thank you.
But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for us today, driving this 2003 Mercury Marauder, one that I've always wanted to drive. This sleeper Panther with the heart of a Cobra. All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And well, we'll see you next time. Take care.